when all we do is regurgitate our existing opinions, we can never learn anything. You're always speaking. You always are talking about your opinion. You never listen. You can't learn with your ears closed. The people came together and they heard the word of the Most High as they read it. They read it. The scripture said they read it in the ears of all to hear. You see, they had to listen. The people had to be quiet and listen. In the wilderness, there will be men teaching us we have to sit down, be quiet, and listen. This is a barrier to deep understanding. Another phrase, 2 ears for listening, 1 mouth for speaking. The Most High gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth because he wanted us to listen more than we speak, than we talk. I have to make this statement. This is a weakness for women. Some women, they like to talk too much. They like to talk too much. So this is a place, this is an area that you will have to adjust. It's a good model to live by if we want to cultivate depth in ourselves. Number 4, deep people think through the consequences of their behavior. There are consequences to our behavior, and deep people think through this consequence. The shallow people will do the opposite. Shallow people sometimes fail to understand how their words and actions affect others. So we have these Babylonian teachers. They're saying things, the Christian pastors, they're saying things that they shouldn't say to the people, and they don't care about hurting them with their words. The people out on the street, they're out there fussing and cussing people out on the street, hurting people with their words. What else they do? They take the scripture. They call themselves, I cut this one up with the scripture. I cut that one up with the scripture. The Most High didn't give us scripture to cut each other up with. See, shallow people are doing this. They don't understand how their words affect others. Everything we do has an impact on others. So it's saying everything we do has an impact on others. And while we need to be true to ourselves, there is no excuse for hurting others. The scripture says, with force and cruelty you have ruled over my people. So these shepherds, these wicked shepherds, these camp leaders, we see this. With force and cruelty, they're hurting people with it's no excuse for hurting people with the words. We shouldn't be cutting each other up with the scripture. Oh, I cut this. And they look out, they look to do this. These are shallow people. Deep people consider other people's feelings. When it comes to telling people, ministering to people the word, we have to do it with meekness, kindness. We can't be yelling and screaming and fussing. No one's going to listen to you when you're yelling and screaming and fussing, except a few other shallow people. Have you ever heard someone make a nasty comment, but they excuse themselves by saying they are just being honest or true to themselves or authentic? So they make a nasty comment. Well, I was just being honest. You see, this is shallow people. They don't consider others' feelings. They care not for your feelings. The Christian churches, I heard some of the meanest things in our Christian church. I don't even want to repeat them. But I've heard some of the meanest things said to people at their lowest point in life. I saw it said to people that had cancer and was dying from cancer. Mean things were said to them. Whenever I'm tempted to do this, I remember what my mother used to say. If you can't say something nice, don't say anything at all. Our words can wound others deeply, so we should be very careful how we use them. The scripture says life and death is in the mouth of the tongue. Our tongue is very, very powerful. People that don't even know the Most High, they're beginning to understand how powerful words are. You should look up the experiment with rice. Cooked rice. They speak love to one and hate to the other for one entire month. The one they spoke hate to, the rice turns black and molded. The one they speak love to after 1 month, it still looks white. no mold, no black. Although they were cooked the same time, put in the containers at the same time. It's an amazing, amazing experiment to show how our words can really hurt people. You know, words hurt more than physical. You can say something to someone and it hurts them for the rest of their life. You can break their arm or leg and that will heal. Our action also reflects the people we are. So if we aspire to be deep people, we should act with integrity and responsibility. Yes, we should have our integrity intact. The scripture says, be attached to integrity. We should be attached to integrity. 5, deep people try to get past their egos. Uh-oh, here we go. Now you realize these Babylonian teachers aren't deep. So when I said deep in Babylon, they in deep trouble. They deep in the belly of the beast. They in deep water. Deep darkness have covered them. This is the deep we're talking about. Their egos. You can't get past yourself and your camp, what you're doing, how important you are, how important the name of your camp is, the clothes you wear, how you look. Deep people understand that often our behavior can be driven by an ego need to be better than others. Our camp is better than any camp. Do you see this? We're the only one with the truth. The Most High is dealing with this camp only. He's not dealing with the other camps. We can't, listen. You're going to say you have the truth. All the other camps are wrong. Nobody's is right but you and your camp. Ego driven, egotistic, full of oneself. As I said, they full of it. Fill in the blank. They full of it. Sometimes we put others down in order to make ourselves feel better. When those Babylonian teachers read back in them chairs, rocking back and forth, feeling arrogant and cocky and confident, and they put others down, it makes them feel good. This is a shallow person. Usually the urge to criticize comes from a feeling of not being good enough ourselves. For example, when we see someone who is overweight, we might criticize him or her, but usually we do this only if we have issues around weight ourselves. Another example is when we see someone being a bad parent eternally, we feel relief. We might not be perfect parents, but at least we are not as bad as the other person. We're measuring ourselves to other people. Deep people can often look past insecurities so that they can show compassion to others who are struggling rather than judging them. All right. So deep people look past insecurities, show compassion. Do these Babylonian teachers show compassion? I know we didn't see this in the Christian churches. Get down on your luck, need some money, need some help, and see will they help you. They don't show compassion. When you're down and out, they usually beat you up with words. The Babylonian teachers, they call it cut you up with the scripture, rather than judging them or putting them down. You should be, we was told in Christianity, you're getting the same word we're getting. He's sending me, they call it blessings. He's sending me blessings. He should be sending you blessings. You must be doing something you should not be doing. This is what we've heard. This is what they will tell you. Show no compassion. They don't have compassion in them. Closing thoughts. Let's face it. None of us are perfect. Here is a good point. And the Dead Sea Scrolls mention this. We all gonna walk until we hit the wilderness. We all gonna walk in folly and truth. That means none of us is perfect. Noah was perfect. We're not in that situation. Abraham was perfect. We didn't have the knowledge they had. So none of us is perfect. Deep. And it got spiritual beings. We are humans and we make mistakes. Surely we all make mistakes. We judge others and criticize them from time to time. However, cultivating deeper ways of speaking and behaving in the world can benefit us and those around us. When these Babylonian teachers, when they cut people up with their mouth, when they're saying these, let me say it, they cuss their own members out. I've heard them. And they're calling them the N-word and all this other stuff. They love doing this. They're not cultivating anything. They're not benefit. The people can't benefit from this. And this should push people away. And then once they leave this camp, again, they demonize them just because they left the camp. And what they have to demonize them because they're telling the other members, you see, these people was full of the devil. So how can we walk together except we agree? So they didn't agree with us. So they're the devil. We're righteous. And now they're gone. So they are wicked. Now they are with the devil. They have left the body, calling their camp the body and no other body but their camp. This is what happened. So they don't know how to speak to people and behave in a righteous manner. They don't know how to be humble. They don't know humble and lowliness. This is something that's not in them. In choosing compassion rather than judgment, it can help to remember the Native American phrase, never judge a man until you have walked in his months in his moccasin shoes. You have to walk in his shoes. And they don't have compassion for their members. They don't care about, I told you, they don't love their members. And you measured them. I've measured them. Looking at this, seeing their actions, they are shallow. Shallow people and not deep. We can never know another human being's experience, so we can never know how we might behave in similar circumstances. This is a very, very good article. Once again, 5 deep people try to get past their egos. They try to, I don't need a name for myself. I don't need a title for myself. I don't need to be lifted up. I don't need praise. But those that's ego driven, they love this. Deep people think through consequences of their behavior. They don't think about the consequences of their behavior. Deep people listen more than they speak. Them Babylonian teachers don't want to hear nothing you and I have to say. Just like the point I brought out when I saw in the comment section when we was in America, someone trying to show one of their followers, showing them about Christ. They didn't want to hear that. The people don't know the Mashiach. They know Christ. So we speak what they know. Teach them. Babylonian teacher, teach them. Deep people don't believe everything they hear or read. Shallow people believe everything they hear or they read. Everything their teacher says, they believe it. Deep people see beyond appearance. Shallow people can't look beyond appearance. They see their Babylonian teachers dress with the nice fine robes like the Pharisees. Their dress means nothing. When I first saw how they dressed, at first it caught my eye. Man, this is nice. Look at them. They look unified and look good. Their appearance on the outside look good, and their mouth, they talk the talk. But I found out their actions and their heart was far from him. Woe be unto me if I fall up under this camp and start following these teachers, these Babylonian teachers. Once again, here is your measuring. You can measure your Babylonian teachers with this. You can measure, most importantly, measure yourself. Are you deep or are you shallow? These are 5 traits that separate the deep people from the shallow people from the deep ones. Everyone be honest. Be honest with yourself. Wherever you need to make changes and adjustments, you should be willing to make changes and adjustment. I never knew what makes someone deep and what makes someone shallow. I see I'm a little shallow in certain areas. I need to fix this. I need to become more deeper. So I'm going to change and fix this and become deeper. I want to be who the Most High wants me to be and not this arrogant person. I don't want to be like the Babylonian teachers. You make the adjustments. Shalom.